Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Right, just a reminder that making the best of your meditation journey, do whatever you can to have as much of an inner experience as possible, which simply means try and eliminate as much outside distraction as you possibly can. And that might mean have your place as dark as you can have it. If you can't have it that dark because there's too much light around, a sleeping mask helps to cut off most of that outside light. And then earphones help you hear less noise on the outside and less distraction from the outside and more focus on what's happening on the inside. Just a reminder of getting the most of your meditation. Somebody, good morning. Maggie, good morning. It is awesome seeing you here. But then again, if you find distractions during your meditation and sometimes my space becomes a little bit noisy, then I guess this is what we're meditating for, practicing dealing with the outside distractions without becoming too distracted ourselves. I have a couple of thoughts for you from some awesome teachers this morning. From Kleykamp. I don't really know much about this person. I need to search and see who this person is and what is their work all about. Kleykamp says, "In the beginning, you will fall into the gaps between thoughts. In the beginning, you will fall into the gaps between thoughts. After practicing for years, you become the gap." Anthony, good morning. Awesome seeing you right here. Hello. Nice to have you. Then Dalio says, "When you are centered, your emotions are not hijacking you." When you are centered, your emotions are not hijacking you. And then recently, my friend Nathan reminded me of a thought which fits so well with these. He says, "The goal is not to manage your emotions. The goal is not to manage your emotions. The goal is to manage how you respond to your emotions." These couple of thoughts together work so well for me. It is very possible that the emotions you have, the thoughts and the feelings you have, for the foreseeable future at least, are not going to change or go away. Those old recorded thoughts will continue to surface, and the old emotions we felt through past events will continue to surface too. Those don't just stop and go away. But would it be helpful if you can have the old thoughts, the old emotions, and simply look at them differently? Like holding up a gem into the light to get a good look at it. Could you get yourself to a place where any thought and any emotion you have, you were able to hold up to the light like a gem without judging it, without criticizing yourself for having this thought and emotion, but just to be able to properly see what's there? Because when we can, then we understand where this thought, where this emotion comes from. And then we understand as well that I don't need to not have this thought. I don't need to not have this emotion. I can simply allow it to exist. And if I can do that, I'm somehow different. I'm somehow lighter. I'm somehow more free. And also more free to choose my next thought, to choose my next step or my next action. Our meditation today is called The Observer, and it's practicing being in that space where it becomes more effortless to hold our own emotions up to the light like a gem, just to be able to see the light come through it and understand exactly what's there. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and let's float away together. Starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. breath in. And out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Deep breath in. And out. One more big breath in. And let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. As you exhale, soften. As you breathe out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. Continue your full body breathing as we attempt to step into the role of observer today. In order to reach this space of being the observer of you, see if you can find yourself stepping outside yourself for the moment and watch yourself sitting there breathing. This is something that most people have a hard time doing. Finding acceptance for what they see when they look at themselves. get as clear a picture as you can of you breathing in, breathing out, body rising and falling. Here's a human being clearly trying. If you have brought yourself to this place, if you are in fact sitting and breathing, then you are clearly trying. Can you find yourself looking at you with acceptance? See that this human's just trying his best, her best. And can you perhaps find at least a little bit of love for this human just trying? We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down in as much comfort as possible for the next part of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles. Forward and to the left, and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. And as you release, you can focus on your spine. Stretch into and through your back muscles from side to side, giving your spine some movement. One more big breath in. As you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a space of presence as much as we possibly can for right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this would be a great place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a long and slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body, and as you do, invite softness in. Feel every muscle in your body soften. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. As you breathe out, feel your shoulders slowly falling, feel your body slowly softening, feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. So as you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath. But hold it only for as long as it feels really easy. And make every exhale as long and as slow as you possibly can. With your next big breath as you dive deep into you, remind yourself of being the observer. Can you get a good look at you? Take your next big breath. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring to your mind a recent event, and if you can't find anything recent, search further back of where you felt triggered, perhaps specifically by another human being, another person, family member, a colleague, a stranger, where in a moment of dealing with this person, you felt more triggered than you'd like to. And perhaps you didn't quite deal with the situation in a way you'd like to. See if you can find an example. Take your next big breath. Perhaps your inner reaction, your inner reactivity was much bigger than you would have liked it to be. And perhaps even your outward reaction was bigger than you'd like it to be. It's also okay if the example that you find doesn't include any other human being you were dealing with, but was just you and your thoughts and your feelings. One more time as you take your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, look backwards and find a good example of your own reactivity. Take your next big breath. See if you can get a really good look at that moment. And whenever I ask you to see something, visualize something, it's not important that you get a clear picture. It's simply helpful to try. In your example of yourself being reactive, try and get a good look at you. What would the expression be on your face in that moment? What would your body language have been in that moment? Take your next big breath. Did you say anything in that moment? Did you use words? With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, remind yourself of what you might have said in that moment. What were the words that might have come out of your mouth? Take your next big breath. Do you remember your thoughts, the emotions running through you in that moment? Take your next big breath. With as much of a clear picture as you possibly can have of you in that moment and what the thoughts were in your head at that moment. Imagine you could ask that version of you a question. And imagine how you'd answer the question in that moment. As you take your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, take a look at that version of you and ask, what is it you are afraid will happen? What is it that you are afraid will happen? How would you have answered it in that moment? Take your next big breath. Is it possible for you to see that in that moment where your reaction was bigger than you'd like it to be, a part of you was simply scared and trying to prevent some bad outcome from happening. One more time with your next big breath as you dive deep into you. Take a look at this human with a bit of understanding. How even at your worst, a part of you is simply trying, in fear, to prevent a bad outcome from happening. Take your next big breath. We'll take one more big breath together to slip out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. Our goal is not to try and control our emotions. Our goal is to even have the old emotions, but find ourselves responding to them differently. If you're able to get somewhat a kind of a picture of this past version of you in this example of an event where you were more reactive than you would want to be, how would you speak to that part of you now? If you were able to talk to that human in that position, in that situation, if you could speak to that person right now, what would you say to him or her? Could you speak with acceptance? Could you say, I understand why you felt the way you did in that moment? I understand why you reacted the way you did in that moment. Could you look into the future while you continue speaking to this part of you, this scared part or angry part, however you'd like to describe it? Could you take his hand, her hand, and together look into the future and say, let's imagine we have to deal with the same situation again. I'd like us to respond differently. I'd like us to stop and first take a deep breath before we respond. I'd like us to try and slow down our thoughts before we say anything. I'd like us to have a calmer facial expression. I'd like us to have calmer body language. So let's practice. Let's practice doing this again, going through the same event again, but this time, first breathe, first soften, then think, and then act. But here's the most important part. Can you take a look at this part of you again, this scared part or angry part or whatever we'd want to call it, and say, even if we don't nail it next time, even if we react the same way again, I'll try hard to find acceptance for just being human and just trying, knowing that we'll find ourselves back here again, being the observer and realizing that we can try again. We're going to have the same emotions and the same thoughts. They will rise again. Our job is not to try and take control with an iron grip. But to find ourselves responding to these old emotions in a different way, even if it is in hindsight. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to be the observer. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for understanding that in the beginning, being the observer tends to only happen in hindsight. Only after the event has already passed. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for understanding that even if it happens in hindsight, if I can be the observer after the event has happened and find acceptance for my own humanness, then I'm taking a step towards being the observer moment to moment too. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for finding this happen more and more often. Being the observer in the moment. Being in a triggered moment and then realizing I have a choice here. I can take another big breath and I can see myself in this space and I can choose. Do I react from an old emotion? Or do I say, I don't have a good response in this moment. Can we talk about this later? One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for doing your work to become an effortless observer of you. I love the image of holding a gem up to the light, to get a good look at it and realizing we can do this with our thoughts. We can do this with our emotions. We can hold them up to the light to really see what is there without judgment, without criticism. And when we can, we find ourselves in that space, even in the moment. Cecile, good morning. Good afternoon, I'm guessing, for you. Thanks for popping in. Estelle, so good to see you. Good morning. Thank you, somebody. I like your comment, Estelle. Count back from 5. Even when we sometimes nail this, we don't always nail it every time. But our growth comes from when we realize, with hindsight, we can still find ourselves observing, find ourselves having acceptance for our humanness, and just deciding to try again. Thanks, Anthony. Leshna, good morning. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Kindness for yourself. The more gentle you can be with you, we think it's the opposite. We think when we look at our worst parts, we should push it away because otherwise they'll perpetuate. But it's completely the opposite. When we look at our worst parts, and we can have acceptance and hold them and bring them closer and say, I'm trying to understand and I'm getting better at understanding, then those parts soften and we find it easier to be our true self, our true being, and not be hijacked by these scared parts. So much love to you all. Have a beautiful day. Ciao, ciao.